Is that not good? I thought that was okay.
It's very good. Hello and welcome to another episode of Lexx Education, comedy science podcast. Comedian, that's me, Laura Lexx. I was learning GCSE science. What's happening?
The window's flown open again.
With my idiot younger brother Ron,
Inclement
who's
weather.
currently fighting a window and some rain.
Alright, just closing that fucker up now.
We just finished the GCSE science syllabus just last week. No more GCSE. So, because my brain can't cope with going straight to exams, I need to finish the little cycle. And because Ron doesn't want to do any more revision, we're having an end-of-term episode. We love end of term. Now, when I was at school and it was the end of term, they would wheel a television into the room on a little trolley and it would have a video recorder underneath it because I am 9,000 years old. And then the teacher would have one or two videos in their cupboard and they would say, as a special treat, we're going to watch this video. And even though we'd watched it on the last day of term every day for 4 years, we would happily sit down and watch Mr. Bean. And I love Mr. Bean to this day. So we're going to talk about Mr. Bean.
I would
Ron?
absolutely love to know.
Well, actually, Rowan Atkinson in general as well.
Yeah. I would absolutely love to know how many times you actually watched Mr. Bean.
1 million.
No, just because, like, I bet it's one of those things where, like, it happened twice, but then, you know, like, the way that you form childhood memories where you're like, no, that was it. It was Bean-a-thon every single time.
Yeah.
It'd just be
How many
interesting.
last days of term are there in a year? Half terms you didn't tend to do that, but, like, let's say Christmas term, Easter term, summer term. So 3 times a year. Oh, it's a lot of Bean.
And so 3 times a year for 11 years.
No, this is
There's
secondary
only-
school. I don't recall watching
right,
Bean
okay.
at primary school.
Okay. Because there are only 15 episodes of Bean.
Oh, yeah, Ron. No, these were the films, I think. No, actually...
you'd watch the films?
No, it was the episodes.
I think there was only
but Ron,
one
we just
film
watched
when-
the same ones.
Yeah.
No, I distinctly remember the Mr. Bean going to LA because Boyzone did the soundtrack. I had a picture of you in my mind. Never knew it could be so wrong. And then he ruins Whistler's mother.
So, Laura, this is your brainchild, the Bean episode. So you're going to have to drive.
Oh, I love Mr. Bean. Where's the Mr. Bean video where he eats the steak? Mr. Bean at a restaurant. I love it. It makes me piss. Okay, Ron, can I share my screen?
Sure.
Video unavailable? Why? Mr. Bean? Why haven't you made this available in my... Mr. Bean? Can you hear this, Ron?
No. I'm going to have to turn sound on.
So he's in a French restaurant. The waiter tries to put a napkin in his lap and he jumps up. He doesn't understand French though, Ron. So he doesn't know what he's ordering. And the waiter's taking it away. Very early influencer behaviour from Bean here, videoing himself eating some bread. Oh no, he's using the bread to pop it up. Look at him being an influencer. Food's arrived. He's got langoustines. This is from Mr. Bean's holiday, by the way. Bean at a French restaurant.
So you didn't watch this at school?
No.
Then why are we watching this?
Because I love this one.
He's not eating a steak.
Maybe it's not this
I
one.
think this is a different one.
Where's the one where Mr. Bean eats a steak? Mr. Bean. Eating.
Fuck me. If we can't...
Oh, it's this one. Here you go, Ron.
Yeah, this is a completely different thing.
All right, Ron. You're just getting more bean for your buck. What's the problem?
That's funny, to be fair. Well, don't skip about. If we're watching Bean, we're watching Bean.
All right, Ron, but you're getting cross with me for many reasons.
I was laughing.
Here comes the food. Hey, that's Trigger.
That's Trigger. With a ponytail.
Lloyd pack.
Trigger.
Oh, he's ordered steak tartare, Ron.
L'American.
He doesn't like it, Ron. He's hiding the beef in the flower pot. Oh, not an advert, thank you. Ruining my bean time. He's opening a bread roll. I think he's going to fill it with beef, Ron. Ron, you're not even watching it.
I am watching.
Why aren't you laughing?
It's really small on my phone.
Ron, tell people what's happening.
He's hiding steak tartare in various places around the table. And sometimes he pulls a bit of a face. He spat some steak tartare out.
Into the trousers of the violin player, Ron.
Right, we have to not be doing this anymore. Turn this off now. Stop with the bean. Laura, if we can play Silly Buggers and watch Bean together, but I don't think it's episode.
Do you want to just come over and watch Bean sometime?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, I do.
Okay. Sounds lovely.
Okay, Laura, so you're driving the episode still, though.
Well, I was driving and you just grabbed the wheel, so you're in the seat now, mate.
Because you were running it up onto the pavement of Bean.
I love Mr. Bean. I love physical comedy, though. It just makes me laugh a lot. Mr. Bean, famously played by Rowan Sebastian Atkinson. Hi, Ron.
Hi. Sorry. What did you want from me there?
I don't know. You could just say, that's a good name. That's a bad name. We'd just have some banter about his name for a second.
Rose Sebat. Is that anything?
Rosebat. Rowan Sebastian Atkinson. He was born in 1955, Ron, on the 6th of January. Obviously, they didn't know that was going to be Insurrection Day.
Yeah.
At
That's close to my birthday.
No.
2 months away.
No. 2 months and 40 years after.
Yeah.
Not even direct. Shut up, Ron. He was born in a town called Consett, which was near Durham, which in 1841 only had a population of like 140 people, Ron. But then the Industrial Revolution came and coal was in the area, and now it's about a 30,000 strong town.
Okay.
He was the youngest of 4, Ron, just like you.
Oh, close birthdays and youngest of 4.
Yeah. Not close birthdays, though, but yes, youngest of 4. Guess what his dad did for a living, Ron?
I think his dad was a toolmaker.
His dad wasn't a toolmaker, Ron. That's Jesus.
No, it's Keir Starmer.
Oh, is it? I think of Keir Starmer as Jesus. He's a very Jesus-y figure to me. No, Ron, his dad was a farmer.
Okay.
Yeah, but the sort of farmer that had been to Oxford.
Laura, can you stop lobbing these facts over the wall like they're really interesting?
Ron, if you dedicate an episode to Rowan Atkinson, you got to find the life of Rowan Atkinson interesting.
Yeah, but
There's simply no getting around
his
it.
dad didn't cure lung cancer or was the man, served man on the moon. He was a farmer in a rural place.
Fed the nation, Ron. Fed the fucking nation.
Is that why he's called Mr. Bean? Was his dad a bean farmer?
I don't know. You're in charge of the bean. I didn't look at bean at all. I've looked at everything but bean.
I've looked at just bean.
Just bean. The next sentence, right, is an absolute fucking doozy. So this is from Wikipedia, okay? So it says his 3 older brothers are Paul, who died as an infant. And you're like, oh, God, that's really sad. That's horrible. Rodney, a Eurosceptic economist who narrowly lost the UKIP leadership election in 2000.
What?
And Rupert. Now I have so many questions about Rupert. What a family! Like, really gutting, obviously. Horrible to lose a child. And then I had no idea Rowan Atkinson's brother tried to lead UKIP.
Yeah, that's really weird.
How is that not bigger news?
Oh, Google his brother. His brother looks like a wrong-un.
Well, yeah, he tried to lead UKIP.
What a strange-looking guy. It's like Jeremy Corbyn's brother is an absolute wrong-un as well.
Yeah, and so is mine. There also seems to be some kind of MMA fighter called Rodney Atkinson. That's not who you're looking at, is it, Ron?
No, I was looking at the man with the moustache that looks like he's hiding from crimes.
He does, doesn't he? Like crimes from the 70s. Yeah. So, I want to know what Rupert Atkinson's up to, though. Do you think he's just a real chill guy that doesn't need as much attention as everyone else?
Let's try and find out. Rupert Atkinson. You got Rupert Atkinson, the poet. He was an Australian poet. Or Rupert Atkinson, the RAF officer, who was a World War I flying ace. Sorry.
Wow. Sorry. I'm looking at more about Rodney here. This is how anti being part of the EU his brother is, right? So he was the referendum party candidate in Northwest Durham at the 1997 general elections, led UKIP, the lead UKIP candidate for the North East region in the 1999 European elections, lost the UKIP leadership in 2000 and then fell out with Nigel Farage and everybody else. But he laid misprision of treason charges against Francis Maude and Douglas Hurd for signing the Maastricht Treaty, which I think is the EU treaty, isn't it? He tried to sue them for treason for joining the EU.
Wow.
He co-authored a book, Treason at Maastricht, The Destruction of the Nation State.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a pretty no-government kind of a guy, I think. But then he's also written some books called Fascist Europe Rising, 2001. I wonder if he's pro or against. And Into the Fire, Fascist Elements in Post-War Europe and the Development of the European Union. So does he think the EU is fascist? Fascinating. Anyway, if anybody's got any information on Rupert, we're curious.
Yes. Okay, carry on with...
Why? What are you looking at?
It's probably spoiler alerts, but I was just reading into Rowan Atkinson's current partner.
Oh, Ron, we'll get there.
Yeah,
because
I imagine you can retell. No, but I already knew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can probably retell all of that stuff later on, but that's very funny.
Yes. So.
And also, I found this really weird picture of Ed Gamble that I'm going to show you.
Why were you doing your own research mid-episode? This is the problem with you, is you tell me to do research, and then rather than play the banterous podcasting fool, you just sit and do your own research during the episode.
Laura, We were both researching. We were both researching Rowan Atkinson's brothers. We were both trying to find the mysterious Rupert. This could have been our fucking serial, or Only Murders in the Business. But
that is a weird picture of Ed Gamble.
That's just look at this. Look at this page that I found.
Very orange.
Why is this page? That's all it has.
Rotten Tomatoes. Celebrity / Ed Gamble. Highest rated not available. Lowest rated not available. Birthday 11th of March 1986. Oh, near my birthday. Stop. Birthplace Hammersmith, London, England. The UK.
And that's all that it says.
There's a couple of photos of him. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest.
Anyway, Laura, keep telling me about Rowan Atkinson.
Okay. He went to school with Tony Blair, Ron.
Unsurprised.
Went to a fancy schmancy fee school paying, so it must have been a fucking big farm. And guess what, Ron? Here's a link to our podcast. He did A-level science, Ron.
No way.
Yeah, he's a scientist, Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean's a scientist, Ron. He got top grades, then he went to Newcastle University and got a BSc in Electrical and Electronic Engineering, and then he went to Oxford and got a Master's in Electrical Engineering, Ron. All about ohms and hertzes and stuff. He'd have enjoyed that part of our podcast.
He'd have loved it, yeah.
Then he started going to Oxford with the Oxford Review, got noticed, made friends with Richard Curtis, and then career-wise, basically, went from Edinburgh appearances, had a Radio 3 show, and then started appearing on TV, and then Blackadder was the first, big TV role, his,
yeah.
I am the king of TV.
Which is lucky, because the first series of Blackadder is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, and then they rejig it, don't they? Because he started out being more like Baldrick.
Yeah, he's the fool in the first series.
Yeah, and then they kind of clocked it no, he's got to play high status.
Yeah, because, without, Rowan Atkinson kind of looking down on Baldrick and stuff throughout it, it's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's what they found.
Hmm.
But back then, you just get it made, and then even though it was bad, they'd go, but do another series, and then we'll see.
There is no one else we can ask.
No. Some women. No. You just have another go. Do you know what his first film role was, Ron? Or the first film he was in?
He played the Kane in Citizen Kane.
He didn't. No, he played the Zen. The city of Zen.
Yeah, no, he played the city, actually.
He did. He played every character.
In a sort of Andy Serkis style.
Yeah. Yeah, he played the skyscrapers, he just ran to the back and put his arms over his head. Played the telephone wires, played a fire hydrant.
At one point, they actually use camera trickery, so he's on the screen twice when they have to do the city, but also the reflection of a city in one of the city's own windows, and it's quite important.
But he's also playing the window.
And he's playing the Zen and the Kane.
Yeah. His Zen, I think, is one of his best roles. You feel a peace, despite the fact that one man is running around playing 9,000 characters and buildings and vehicles. There's a peace to it, you know?
Yeah. And the rigidity and sturdiness that he brings to the Kane speaks for itself.
Well, I think because if without that, the Zen would be a bit overpowering. But because of the Kane, the constant threat of being hit across the buttocks, you appreciate that you're not being hit across the buttocks all the more.
Look, there are 1,000 podcasts describing the yin and yang-esque pull of Rowan Atkinson's Zen and Kane. We don't need to go through it again.
No. You've listened to those podcasts. No, his first film, Ron, was a Bond film.
A Bond film?
Yeah, he was in Never Say Never Again in 1983.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it when Bond goes into a department store and it's like looking to get a gun and then he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm good. Bond.
What? Bond. I can't do it.
I'm not stirred.
Bond.
Taddy.
Taddy. Do it again.
Bond. That one wasn't as good.
Do Teddy again.
Taddy. You say it was Never Say Never Again?
Yeah. Isn't a Bond film? Because then he went on to do like Johnny English and
Oh,
stuff
fuck.
much later.
That's a Sean Connery one.
Yeah, that's a proper Bond film.
Oh, he looks gross.
Who, Rowan Atkinson or Sean Connery?
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson had an old man's face from a young age.
Yeah. I think he's one of those people that's almost... Either we've just got really used to his face or he's got better looking as he's got older.
I think both. But he's yeah. I think if he was born 100 years earlier, they'd have put him in some kind of travelling show.
What do you mean, Ron? Why? What would he have done in this travelling show?
I don't know, just the man with the face. And
Yeah, well, the rubber face was his
travelling
nickname.
show.
He's so I'm looking at a picture from Never Say Never Again where him and Sean Connery are in white suits together, and there's an air of the Grima Wormtongue about Rowan Atkinson.
Here's a picture of Sean Connery where he really looks like Ian Hislop.
I think Sean Connery looks a bit like Bob Monkhouse. Oh, he does look like Ian Hislop in this picture.
What does Bob Monkhouse look like?
Sean Connery.
Oh, I see what you mean. A young Bob Monkhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's dead now.
Dead now, of
Being
course.
eaten by deer. Where were we up to? I really need a wee. From here on, I just cherry-picked a bit of stuff. So he's got some political views that are sad, but having coped with his brother, not as bad as his brother's views, and I guess we'll have to see what the fuck
Wasn't Rowan
up to.
Atkinson recently one of these people that was like, oh, comedy's supposed to offend people, you can't fucking do comedy for the fucking snowflakes. And it's like, mate, your last show was called Man vs. Bee. Who? What fucking edgy envelope do you think you were pushing there?
He looked at Jerry Seinfeld's B-movie and went, that is the sort of success I want.
Well, I mean, Jerry Seinfeld's one of those guys as well. In a lot of ways, Rowan Atkinson is our Seinfeld.
No. No.
You don't think?
No. Because I think Seinfeld was quite famously, like, talking.
Yeah, but Rowan Atkinson talks in Blackadder.
Yeah, but he's an actor in that. I watched, in research to this
Wait. Do you think Seinfeld's a documentary?
No, but his stand-up was what came... I think of Seinfeld as a stand-up way more than an actor.
Yeah, that's because you're a stand-up, whereas everyone else just knows him as the guy from Seinfeld.
Yeah, but he's only got Seinfeld because he's a stand-up. And he wrote Seinfeld, whereas I don't think Rowan Atkinson wrote Blackadder.
I know, Ben Elton did, didn't he?
Yeah, and Richard Curtis and Griff Rhys-Jones?
Maybe. It seems one of my shocking facts is not going to be as shocking as I thought it was, by the way.
Oh. Why?
Because I was like, what? Rowan Atkinson and Richard Curtis made Mr. Bean? Richard Curtis from Love Actually? That's mad.
Yeah.
But it turns out they worked together quite a lot.
Yeah, I think so. I think they must have been at Oxford at the same time.
Yeah, we should go to Oxford. It seems that's where it's happening. That's where you get the
right?
big jobs.
I wish I'd known that as a child. This is where, like, growing up with any kind of connection to entertainment and the world helps. I just didn't really know that if you wanted to be a performer, you went to Oxford and Durham.
Did you apply to Oxford or Durham?
No, Ron, no. I didn't.
I did. I didn't get in.
Do you think you'd have got into acting and performing?
Probably not, but I might have been, like, in the next Radiohead. I think they're from Oxford. I think I'd got more into music.
Yeah, fair. Why don't we start a band together?
Because you are untalented.
Yeah.
Also, we don't like this. You don't really like music.
No.
Unless we were singing, like, I'm Henry VIII, and
maybe we should be a historical music band, Ron.
Of my wife's heads.
That's a niche nobody's doing.
What about Hamilton, Horrible Histories? Those two really big things.
I love them.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah, but they're not, like, releasing rock music, are they?
Oh, so you want to just be a band that does historical
songs? That why wouldn't only, like, we can do love songs and stuff, but they're all from the perspective of Anne of Cleves.
Look, I don't want to backseat your career, but why wouldn't we, like, stay in the lane we're in and at least do science if we're going to do tedious informational songs?
Yeah, okay, I'm in.
Okay, right, you write some lyrics.
You write the lyrics, I'll clap along.
No, because then I have to write the music as well. You write the lyrics and I'll write the music.
Ron, I really need a wee. Can we have a break?
No.
Please?
No. This is the kind of nervous energy we need at the end of term.
I think you need to be happier and more happy-go-lucky for the end of term.
I've been having a great time. I've been sending you pictures of Bob Monkhouse and Rowan Atkinson.
That's true. Let's blitz through his horrible political reviews, Ron. In 2005, him and a load of other writers and Stephen Fry, the national treasure, attempted to force a review of the racial and religious hatred bill because they didn't want it to give overwhelming power to religious groups to impose censorship on the arts. Stop sending me that butt photo. Then he was criticising homophobic speech legislation, like, no, I should be able to say what I want about anyone ever. What else did he do? He opposed the Serious Organised Crime and Police Act. He was like, no, I should be able to have freedom to criticise ideas, and ideas, even if they are sincerely held beliefs, is one of the fundamental freedoms of society. And a law which attempts to say you can criticise or ridicule ideas as long as they are not religious ideas is a very peculiar law indeed. Maybe I agree. Then he defended Boris Johnson over the burqa. You know, where Boris Johnson was being incredibly offensive. Rowan Atkinson, like, wrote a thing in a newspaper being like, I actually thought it was a very funny joke. And you're like, God, really? So yeah, he's got a bit John Cleese in in his later life.
As is the way people like to pioneer something and then pull up the drawbridge behind them.
Yeah. But then I guess he thinks he's not pulling it up by saying you should be able to laugh and joke about whatever you please without realising why those bills have been brought into place. It's like, from my perspective, it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, and what was that perspective?
Nobody commented on the burqa I wasn't wearing. Yeah. So, Ron, he's been on Top Gear. He was a star in a reasonably priced car. Yep.
He drove a Kia Ceed around the track.
He did really well, doesn't he? Isn't he really into his cars?
Yes, Ron, he is. He won the top of the leaderboard. 1 minute 42.2, significantly higher than the other record holder, Tom Bloody Cruise.
Wow.
Mr. Bean shaved 2 seconds off Tom Cruise's time. Ron, it's thin on the ground, all right? We've either got bigotry or we've got this. What do you want to talk about? Because you didn't want to just sit and watch Bean videos like I wanted to, so bring something to the party.
Top Gear.
There's such a loud pigeon outside my window. Okay, Ron, I've got 2 more things. Let's cover his personal life then, because it is very funny. So he got married in the late 80s. Oh, no, sorry, married in 1990. He married a makeup artist called Sunetra Sastry. They got married in 1990, had 2 children together. And then in 2013, he was in a play with an actress called Louise Ford, significantly younger than him, but not in a creepy way, I don't think. I think just about an okay age range.
Yeah, she's
58 and 32.
Yeah.
So 26 years, but I feel like 32, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, she's not a child.
No. And
he's not a Seinfeld in that way.
No. And while there is a sort of slight power imbalance, I suppose, that he is like a megastar, I guess, she is in a play with him, so it's not like she's got no clout.
Yeah.
And they met, and then she broke up with James Acaster in order to be with Rowan Atkinson. He left his wife and divorced her, and now they have a child together, him and Louise Ford. They've been together, 10 years now?
Yeah.
And James Acaster... It has very funny stand-up material about being the only person in the world who has been left for Mr. Bean.
Yeah, that's a very funny bit about, finding out that your girlfriend's dumped you. It's for Mr. Bean. Yeah, it's the sort of thing where if there wasn't loads and loads of proof, you'd just be like, that is, like if John Kearns did that, you'd be like, wow, that's so funny and off the wall. But then, no, it's just real.
Yeah, I didn't really realise who she was, and then I was Googling and I was like, oh yeah, I've watched her in The Royal Family or whatever what's it called? The spoof, The Windsors. I think she's in that. And then the last thing, Ron, his Wikipedia's batshit. It's all over the place. It's like, oh, you were there at the beginning of British comedy, and then you're into your cars, and you lived on a farm, and now you've nicked James Acaster's girlfriend, and you're all over the shop. Then this one for me. In March 2001, while Atkinson was on holiday in Kenya, the pilot of his private plane fainted. Atkinson managed to maintain the plane in the air until the pilot recovered and was able to land the plane at Wilson Airport in Nairobi. He's a real-life James Bond.
Bond. Yeah, wow.
He can play Mr. Bean. He can steal the girlfriend of, the most top guy in comedy at the time. He can fly a plane while the pilot's passed out. He can drive faster than Tom Cruise. He's the Swiss Army knife of men.
I'd leave James Acaster for him.
You should. Burn all of your James Acaster merch and buy Bean merch.
Well, that really gets you every time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not even a great impression. I think it's okay.
I love Bean so much.
There
you go, Ron.
I was just reading about Ben Elton. Now, that's an impressive guy.
I've met Ben Elton loads.
Yeah, I was there when you did Upstart Crow one time.
Yeah.
And that was I'd like to. He seems cool. He was the youngest ever scriptwriter for the BBC.
Can you hear that pigeon?
He was a co-writer on The Young Ones at 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote Blackadder 2 in 1985 when he was 26.
What the fuck, Pidge? So, Ron, what research did you do into Mr. Bean? You didn't do any, did you? You're about to just talk about fucking soybeans for a while, aren't you?
No, I really would want to, but you know that The Complete Guide to Everything's already done an episode that was supposed to be about beans, but then Tom just does it on Mr. Bean, or as he calls it throughout the whole episode, and it's really funny, Mr. Beans. It's a great bit. But no, Mr. Bean, it only ran for 5 years. I think it's interesting the cultural powerhouse that Bean is, with the brevity of Bean in full perspective, because it only ran for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. From 1990 to 95, finished
But
on...
that bit where we were all watching it and he falls out of the light onto the street on the cobbles and it'd be on in the evening and you just loved it.
But I was only there for, 13 months and 6 days of that.
But I bet it got repeated a lot, Ron.
But as we were just discussing
Christmas
before,
Bean?
I've never seen an episode of Mr. Bean.
How?
I don't know. I've seen Mr. Bean's Holiday. But
Is that the one where they go to LA? Is that the one with Whistler's
no, it's where they
mother?
go to France.
Oh, Mr. Bean and Whistler's mother. Which one's that one? Because he was in a Ronan Keating video. Oh, it's just called Bean. That was out in 97.
Yeah, but there's 2 films, and that's one of them. The other one's Mr. Bean's Holiday. So get this, Laura. Did you know that it was co-created with Richard Curtis, who made Love Actually?
Yeah, I did, Ron.
That was like, wow, to me. Because also, did you know Rowan Atkinson plays a small part in Love Actually?
Yeah, Ron, yeah. He plays, there's fan theories, aren't there, that he's an angel?
Yeah.
And he's, deliberately prevaricating in order to, make, what's his name? I want to say Ignacio, but it's
Snape.
not, is it? Yeah. What was his name?
Alan Rickman.
Alan
Ignacio.
Alan Rickman.
Ignacio.
His name. Yeah. He's messing about trying to make him go, oh, for goodness sake, don't bother then, don't worry about it. But obviously he doesn't.
Ignacio is a name, at least.
Yeah, I know.
Why would his name be Ignacio?
I couldn't remember what his name was. I knew
His name's
I was
Alan!
Yeah, but Alan Rickman, there's more syllables. No, it's not even the same. I don't know. I knew it wasn't Ignacio.
There's a comedian from Wales called Ignacio Lopez.
Lopez, yeah. I know
Is that
him
who
very
you're
well.
thinking of?
No, Ron, I was thinking of Alan Rickman. I just couldn't remember his name. So I said, I want to say Ignacio, but it's not. And it was Alan Rickman.
Yeah, but you have to understand, that's like me trying to pull Hugh Laurie from my brain. I want to say Carlos.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what you've got to do to get to the pudding.
Anyway, what was your point? Yeah, he's an angel that's dealing with Ignacio
Yeah, there's
Rickman.
a theory that he's an angel.
Why would that be the case when there's nothing else supernatural in the whole film?
Well, because the film makes no sense and it's absolute crap. But
I feel like this is just one of those trendy things to hate Love Actually.
no, I've hated Love Actually for a long time. Here's my problem with it. I think I love the idea of a sort of montage film, but I think it's got too many strands in it in order to be able to do them all well. So a lot of the exposition has to be so clunky in order to fit it all in that I think the script is actually really bad. And I think if they'd taken out 2 to 3 storylines and just kept all the ones that definitely weave into each other a little bit more, it would have been much better.
Yeah, get rid of Tim no, his name's not Tim. Tim Freeman,
Juan?
Martin Freeman, and
Jose
Joanna Page. Get rid of that one.
Yeah, that one's boring. Get rid of Colin Firth.
Oh no, that's one of the better ones.
No, that one's wanky.
That one's great. I think let's rejig Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant's great as PM, but it's a bit weird.
Yeah. You call me Thunderfies.
Yeah, that needs a massive re-edit.
Yep.
Um,
Obviously, we're keeping Emma Thompson.
Well, Emma Thompson is a star.
Yes. Who else is in Love Actually?
The Bill Nye bit. The Bill Nye bit's flawless.
That's great. Yeah, that's perfection. The Laura Linney bit's just a bit sad. And I hate the bit where they're at the wedding watching the DJ. Ugh. It's so
Is Laura Linney the one with the brother?
Yeah, and I don't mind that storyline. It's got pathos, it's cute, it's touching. But I hate that bit where they're sitting at the wedding and she's sitting with Andrew Lincoln. Possibly
Which one's Andrew Lincoln?
The one who marries Keira Knightley.
Oh, yeah. All of the Keira Knightley stuff's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Especially, isn't she like 17 in that film?
Is she?
I think Keira Knightley was very young when she filmed that, yeah. Yeah, Keira Knightley was like 18.
It's quite young to be getting married, isn't it?
Yeah, because she was born in 85.
She doesn't have to do anything creepy in it, though.
No. But it's a bit weird that like a grown man's grown up at her door and... Oh, Emma Thompson's so beautiful.
Yeah. I've looked at love from both sides now. Oh, what a scene.
Do you know what film had a really weird but great cast? Much Ado About Nothing.
The Kenneth Branagh one?
Yeah. Listen to all these massive stars that are in this.
Can you just read them out while I go and wee? Because I really need a wee.
No, Laura, we're almost done.
Wee? You
yeah.
haven't done anything yet.
Laura, listen to this. Right,
You just said that Bean ran from 1990 to 1995. That's all you've done.
Laura, can you fucking listen,
Run!
please? Laura.
Fuck me.
Laura, Kenneth Branagh, obviously, he directs it. But then you've got Emma Thompson as Beatrice. But then you've got Keanu Reeves, Kate Beckinsale, Richard Bryars, Imelda Staunton, Brian Blessed, Denzel Washington, what's his name? Michael Keaton is in it.
Whoa, I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he plays the funny character. Robert Sean Leonard, a.k.a. Wilson from House.
I don't know what that is, but I'm happy for you.
You've never seen House?
No, it was something you and older sister of the podcast were always really into.
Anyway.
I think it was after I'd already left for uni.
Anyway, let's get back on Bean, eh? So
We were never on Bean.
Yeah.
We saw the mountain of Bean in the distance, and then you went, hey, get on this train. And we just veered off in another direction.
Laura, did you know there are only like 14 episodes of Mr. Bean?
I didn't know that. How did that fit into 5 years then? There must have been like 1 year where there was only one.
Sparse. Well, actually, yeah, sparse. Because I guess actually on the 5 years, the 15th, or the last episode actually was just called The Best Bits of Mr. Bean. So that's not even a full ep, really.
A clips episode.
But that is number 15. There are 14 pure Beans.
We've done like 100 more episodes.
Yeah.
Where's our knighthood?
So, Laura, episode 1 was just called Mr. Bean.
Lovely.
Now, this one...
Clean, simple.
Clean bean, as they say. This
Got to keep your bean clean.
Was released on New Year's Day 1990. They're thinking...
Lovely. It's perfect New Year's Day.
It's a new decade. It's new
a new
bean.
dawn. It's a new day. It's a new bean for me.
No. It's a new...
And I'm feeling toddy.
Right, you really fucked that up. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for Bean. Toddy. That's how it should have been.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we're talking, it's the 90s, it's the go-go 90s.
Everybody's a ladette.
Yeah. Everything's about to happen. So they launch Bean into the new world of the 90s. They get Ben Elton in for that first episode. The first episode is the one where he's doing the exam.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, being copied off, or he's copying?
He's copying, yes.
Yes.
Then, Laura, what they do, they wait 11 months. They keep the people frothy for Bean.
Yeah! Bean, 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 touch my bean, 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 give me bean, bean, bean. There were riots that summer for Bean.
But you know what? They knew that, and they played that with the crowd. This episode, that's called The Return of Mr. Bean.
Bean, bean, bean. We've got bean, bean, bean. How long was the first episode of Bean?
Don't know, don't have that. They swapped out between episode 1 and episode 2 Ben Elton for a man called Robin Driscoll. Don't worry about him. He's not worried about you. Episode 3, guess what, Laura? New Year's Day again. Yeah. People are like, what? Bean again? After only 2 months? Now, they're settling in. They think they're getting Bean on that. They think they're getting that regular Bean tap.
Yeah, you're like, I can go and get really fucked up on New Year's Eve because I know I'm waking up to Bean tomorrow.
Yeah, but Laura, no. 6 months passed. No fucking more Bean.
What?
They should have seen it coming because episode 3, do you know what that's called? The Curse of Mr. Bean.
Oh,
they should have known.
Is he all right?
Well, we don't know. But then they're like, 6 months passed, no more Bean hits. They think, fuck, we're going to have to wait probably 11 months again for more Bean. No, 15th of October, Bean drop.
Yes.
1991, 15th of October.
That is really near your birthday.
No, that's near Sister of the Podcast's birthday. Cradling.
It's way closer to yours.
1991?
No, I mean the date in the year.
Right, okay. Anyway, that one drops. That one's called Mr. Bean Goes to Town. He's buying a portable television, but he has difficulty getting good reception. It's classic Bean stuff, probably. I don't know, I haven't seen it. Now, the people...
I can't believe you didn't watch them all in preparation.
The people at the end of 1991, they're thinking, are we getting Bean for New Year's? Are we getting Bean January 1st, 1992?
I remember they changed all petitions asking for it.
Well, you know what, Laura? 100%. The usual yearly Bean drop happens.
Gotta give me my New Year's Bean.
They love it.
There was an argument that we should change it from New Year's Eve and then instead of New Year's Day, just New Year's Bean.
New Year's Bean. Well, this one's called The Trouble with Mr. Bean. But, you know...
Well, it's everything. He's terrible.
And then, so the people, New Year's Day, they're lapping up their yearly New Year's Day Bean. The people settle in for 11 months, maybe 10 months of no Bean, Laura. But do you know what happens?
Maybe there's back catalogues that they can go and get from HMV, though, so that they can re-watch to sort of stave off the Bean withdrawal.
Maybe, but they don't need to, because on the 17th of Feb that year, episode 6, Mr. Bean Rides Again drops. Surprise
February?
Bean drop. They've had
For making love to. Valentine's.
Yeah.
Sexy beans.
Everyone's still cleaning themselves up from Valentine's Day, but Mr. Bean dropped. That's 3 episodes in the course of about 6 months, Laura. It's fucking mental.
They're so sporadic with
the crowd is going wild. People settle in. Things get a bit antsy around November again. We're like, are we getting our late year Bean? No.
Whoa.
The Bean cannot be predicted because do you know what happens then? Everyone's expecting first day of the year Bean. No, they dropped this episode on the 29th.
Of January?
Of December.
Whoa! Gooch Week Bean!
Gooch Bean.
You can't just drop Bean down the gooch.
This one's called Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean, but they've missed Christmas.
They have missed Christmas.
They then sail right through New Year's Day. There is I don't know how long an episode of Mr. Bean is. There's a 90-minute fucking gap in everyone's schedule on the
90 minutes
on the first of the year, 93. However, weird, right? 17th of Feb again drops another episode. What's going on with the 17th of Feb? Yeah.
It's not even his birthday. His birthday is the 6th of January.
Yeah. Was it a bank holiday? Because on this episode, Bean treats himself to a bank holiday weekend at the Queen's Hotel. Sounds like a laugh riot. Anyway, then we get into what many people call the Slough of Bean. But they cruise right the rest of the way through 93 without even letting the people know that there's not getting their late year Bean drop. And they completely miss New Year's Bean.
2 years in a row with no New Year's Bean.
2 years in a row, no New Year's Bean. And
no
even
Christmas bean in 93?
No.
No festive beans.
No festive beans.
But people are like, don't worry, Valentine's is coming up. I've got twitchy bean fingers, but Valentine's is on its way. I'm going to get my Feb beans.
10th of Jan. Some bean drops.
What?
It's called Do It Yourself, Mr. Bean. This one is about a New Year's Eve party.
It feels like what happened was they filmed a load of beans way back in the day, right? And then every time something went wrong and they had a gap in the schedule, they just pumped a bean into it.
Yeah, it's very odd. Then we get into the slew of bean, which is 3 in a year, 10th of Jan, 25th of April, and then the 26th of October. We've never
and I bet
had...
the economy was rocking.
We've never
Celtic
had an
Tiger.
April release before.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, the next year, 95, we're actually getting close to my birthday here.
Yep.
We have another triple bean year.
Whoa.
Tee off, Mr. Bean. Good night, Mr. Bean. Good night, Mr. Bean, only 9 days before I was born. And then Hair by Mr. Bean, but of London, 6 days after I was born. So
You might have watched that, Ron.
well, I'm thinking, you know how I've got just natural comedy chops and a kind of beanish face? Maybe it's because like the air was heavy with bean when I was...
I think it was thick with bean.
When I was conceived and born.
I think probably Mum and Dad would have got you home from the hospital. Lord knows they weren't that fussed that you were there. You were the Rupert of the family. So we probably propped you up between us and watched some bean.
Yeah, and here's the other thing as well. You know, 9 months before I was born, it's February. So Mum and Dad were probably sat around waiting for that 17th of Feb bean drop that they'd been used to a couple of years previously. Didn't come. 90 minutes to kill. Decided to stove each other in for a bit, and then I pop out 9 months later.
A full shock.
Now,
There would be none of this podcast if it hadn't been for that February bean delay.
yeah. Now, I've got two other things to say about Mr. Bean.
I don't know if I can hear them after stove each other in for a while. I think that might be me tapped out for a while.
He kind of developed the character for a while. A sketch featuring Mr. Bean was shown at the Edinburgh Fringe in the early 80s. A similar character called Robert Box was also played by Rowan Atkinson in the 1979 sitcom called Canned Laughter.
Mr. Box is not as funny as Mr. Bean.
No. There's a bit about how one of his earliest appearances was in the Just for Laughs comedy festival in Canada. And obviously they wanted to put him on the English-speaking programme, but he actually insisted that he got put on the French-speaking bill because he wanted to test out his act for like global audiences and whether it was just funny for the English or funny for everyone. And then the other thing is that they did... try out, or they did consider other vegetable names, including Mr. Cauliflower.
Bean is funniest.
Bean is funniest. And that's everything on Bean.
I've had a lovely time, Ron.
Yeah.
I feel really end of term.
Yeah, that was I feel beanie. Ta-do.
You're just saying that, I'm going to wet myself.
Well,
We'll be back next week to evaluate my progress with Tom.
yeah, maybe some more Bean chat. Should we
Hey,
just turn
everybody,
this into
watch
a
some
Bean
Bean.
pod?
Everybody start watching Bean. Maybe let's scrap off all the Patreon plans we've got and just do a Bean watch along.
Yeah, right.
I love Bean so much. Right,
Right,
Ron,
go
I
for your
simply have
piss.
to go.
All right,
Bean
cross the
dismissed.
pissed.